All right. Welcome back to episode 2 of the Route 66 Fix. We redeemed ourselves last week, bringing the pod back to you all. So today we're just going to discuss a little Kyrie Irving, some college hoops. We're going to lay off the Super Bowl this week. Might hit that later in the week with a fun guest that we plan on bringing on, and then we might dive into a little politics today, as there was a lot of action with a Chinese balloon hovering the U.S., getting shot down, over the mountains. We have some sources who were on the ground when it did get shot down, but we can, we can just get rolling and hammer away. Cole, what's new with you this week?
Hey everybody, not a whole lot's new. Just ready to get back in action here. We had plans to record one over the weekend, didn't work out, but glad we can get here tonight and get this recorded to start the week. And like you said, we got a big guest coming on towards the end of the week. Probably I'm sure that will come out Thursday night or Friday morning. I'll have to coordinate with everyone there, and then we'll feed into the Super Bowl weekend, and then we'll have one ready to go early next week as well. So Anyway, just stay tuned for those.
Yep, I think our plan is have a guest on for pretty much a lot of Super Bowl talk, and then we're going to have another guest on post Super Bowl. That might fluctuate depending on who wins or loses that game, on who we might have on. But I do have something in the works with an early, what's the word, heckler, I guess you could say, coming at me strongly with some strong words. Doesn't really like to back it up. So me and him might be going, pretty head to head early on next week. So we'll see how that goes.
All right. I'm all here for it.
But anyway, let's go ahead and we can just dive on into some NBA. Not a whole lot going on as we approach the All-Star break, but the bomb this week was Kyrie Irving to the Mavs. Kind of unexpected. Late last week, he requested a trade, and then got sent to Dallas for Spencer Dinwiddie, a couple first-round picks, and then I think maybe another scrub player. Not too sure, but what are your thoughts on that? I'm not too big on the Kyrie train, just because a lot of heat around his name this year, and just in the past, and how he can cause some hectic things around some teams. Yeah. But what are your thoughts on that?
No, I was a huge Kyrie guy early. Obviously, being Duke, growing up, I was a huge Duke fan. So that was where I initially really liked him. Obviously, the injury that he had there, kind of controversial, and I feel like that's kind of just carried over his entire career. The times I think he's an amazing player. I don't want to take that away from him. Honestly, one of the better point guards that's ever played when he plays healthy. So I don't want to take away from that, and that's truly what I believe. But like you said, a lot of controversy always follows him, and as to be an all-timer, to win consistently, I don't. It's hard to follow that. It's hard to get behind that as a franchise guy. Is really what I'm trying to say. So anyway, I like Luka a lot. I think he's an amazing player, huge future. I think Dallas is a good fit for him. So I really hope that he doesn't, pull some of the stuff that he has in other organizations there, because I think Dallas has, obviously they won with Dirk, but kind of had some down years here and there, and then they drafted right, picked up some free agents, so they were on the right path. I hope this is a move that continues that growth and doesn't throw them off the track. But I think Cuban, if there's anything that goes wrong, I don't think Cuban will hold back on him. He's probably a pretty good owner and everything like that to be under. And I'm sure there was conversations of that prior. There would have had to have been, I think. So anyway, I'm for it. Like I said, I think it's a good thing. Don't really understand why he initially requested it. Didn't make sense. They were 21-4 when he and KD both played this year, which was the Nets over a 25 game span. That was their franchise record. And they were at one point in the season, I think they were like second or third lowest odds, like early in the season when they were like 0-4, maybe like 1-5. their odds to win the championship were one of the lowest. And then I think they were maybe a couple of weeks ago, right before KD got hurt, they were second only to the Celtics in odds to win the championship. And so for that to be in that situation, knowing when you're healthy, you're definitely one of the top 5 teams. And then to ask out didn't make sense. Still don't know why. I haven't heard, confirmation as to why, but I think it's a good thing, I guess. I think Dallas could be a good fit for him.
Yeah, no, it'll be interesting to see. But yeah, just starting with why it was requested. I'm sure, we do have a couple people up there in the Northeast who do reports, so we can, maybe get a hold of them this week and have some answers later in the week. But no, it is interesting. It must have been something more internal going on because, like you said, I mean, not only was KD, were they good when he was on the court, but Kyrie wasn't playing bad at all. He's having a lot of explosive games and looking like he was prime Kyrie. So it was just kind of weird that came out of nowhere and KD was going to be back. And for one, you're in the East where you do have the Celtics and Bucks to go through, but outside of that, you probably had a good shot. And now you're going to the West, which, has a lot of very competitive teams. And, if the Warriors get healthy, we talked about the Lakers a little bit. They still got to get in there. You got the Nuggets, but you just got a lot of good teams in there. If the Suns can get their things figured out, that, they've made a deep playoff run before. It'll be interesting to see. And yeah, I just don't understand why he requested it, but we can find that out. And then as far as his fit with the Mavericks, that'll be interesting to see as well from a basketball standpoint, because as we know, that entire flow of the game, that entire offense goes 100% through Luka. So it'll be weird to see kind of with Kyrie in the mix, how they're going to go about that. Maybe Jason Kidd can get that figured out with his veteran leadership. So, but again, Cuban, I think he's going to be a guy who he's not gonna mess around if things go south. But at the same time, he's going after a premier player in the league and wanting to, make a run at that championship. And if Kyrie has a set on straight, I don't think that's a far-fetched possibility for him.
And to build on that too, I think it's a move they probably had to make. While I think the Mavericks are good, I don't necessarily think they were a contender yet. Mm-hmm. They're missing a piece. So if Kyrie can be the Kyrie that he has shown before, with the Cavs and flashes of it with the Nets, that can definitely put them right there in the category to, go in and win a 6-game series against the Warriors, or, if they get, home court advantage game 6, they can knock them off and move on, down the road. So, yeah.
And another thing too is, Luka just puts so much on his body each and every night. So being able to maybe not, put as much on his body, be able to have a rotation where Kyrie comes in and Luka might be able to rest a little bit more throughout the season, that could be nice for the Mavs as well. So yeah, it's never a bad deal when you're bringing in a guy who can, drop 30 on his own any night he wants to. So
yeah. And then I saw today LeBron made a comment about it, that made, he said something about that how bad they were after him, which I didn't really know that until after the fact. But just thinking about that, I mean, them teaming back up together and that Lakers roster adding Kyrie, I mean, that really would have been interesting.
And but I did see, I think it was the Nets GM or maybe the owner came out and said that they were not going to send him to the Lakers. They were willing to send him anywhere else, which is kind of strange. I think it's just because maybe they had so much turmoil with him this year. They just, wanted to let him go, but maybe not to the Lakers. And then I also saw where LeBron put out a tweet. He said, "It's always me," or "It must be me," or something like that. So just a classic LeBron tweet right there. But I don't know what that meant. But I also saw where since LeBron's been with the Lakers, Pelinka hasn't been that great over there. You dropped the ball. Who was it with? I think Kyrie the first go around in free agency when he went to the Nets. They dropped the ball a little bit there, and then, Russell Westbrook, say what you will, but I think they gave up quite a bit for him, if I'm not mistaken. I think I was reading some stuff about this today, but if you ever feel like my takes are wrong, go ahead and drop that in the comments, even though it's probably not likely. But anyway, I don't know. You just never know what LeBron's thinking. So
but to defend Pelinka, I mean, that's a really tough situation. I mean, you're in LA, you've got LeBron,
Oh yeah.
who's, you know, he's going to let you know his opinion. You got all these guys, former players involved, a lot of history there. So I don't know. That's a really tough job. You're right. He has dropped the ball, but I kind of tend to side with him. I don't know. I just think that would be a really tough position to be in with all the politics, everything
Yes.
involved that goes into each and every decision you make. And then, not only that, but the players that you do have, you got to keep them happy. And then the fans, that's a, that's a big ask and a lot on his shoulders to do, a lot more so than most organizations. So,
Yeah, and who would have thought that when you get Anthony Davis to come in and they won that championship in the bubble, so we can asterisk that or whatever. But to think Anthony Davis, would be just so injury prone like this,
yeah,
just consistently, that's always tough to deal with as well.
yeah, absolutely.
But other than that, the only other NBA talk that I know is I know LeBron plays the Thunder at home, and he's 36 points off. So,
Yep.
I guess we'll be. I think going out and dropping 40 to pass him on a game would be cool to do.
Yeah.
But we'll definitely see
And
on that.
our boy Shannon's going to be there. I know he has to take off Thursday for Super Bowl weekend down in Scottsdale, so he'll be able to be there tomorrow. That would mean a lot for LeBron, just knowing how close they are, and for Shannon too. So really hope he can grab that 40 ball in front of him and go ahead and get it done. So
if I'm not mistaken, Shannon and LeBron are literally apparently Shannon's closer to him than like maybe his own family, according to him.
Yeah.
I think you were referring that Shannon said when he talks about LeBron, he talks about we.
Yeah, lots of we talk.
Yeah, we're gonna get this career points. Like, not sure what that's
and
about.
We may be boycotting the NBA.
Yeah, I don't know. Shannon and
If we
Skip
don't
are
get called.
dude, they're on my hot seat. I don't know what they're doing. A lot of controversy around them fellas.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's pretty much all I know about NBA right now. Not a whole lot going on.
Yeah, it'll pick back up here after the break, I'm sure, after the All-Star break. Actually, one thing about the All-Star game, I think it's kind of cool the way they're doing the teams this year. So I honestly haven't paid a ton of attention to All-Star weekend. It's kind of gotten political as well. So I might try to check out, be a little more involved in it this year. So
yeah, no, it's gonna be it's gonna be fun to watch as always. But I say with that, we go ahead and dive on into to maybe some college hoops.
All right. Sounds good.
I'm not I'm always in football mode when college basketball starts up, and then once conference play kind of starts going, that's when I'll start paying more attention. Obviously, too, what's been big for me this year is Mizzou basketball is making a huge comeback. At first, they start off 9-0, playing a bunch of nobodies, and everyone kind of thought, they're not really the real deal. Especially when they came out to Kansas and just got, curb stomped by 30 points. And then they came back and then won back-to-back against Illinois and Kentucky. And then we were like, hey, maybe this is the real deal. So, yeah, I'm definitely interested in college basketball now that football is pretty much over and done with. I'll really start cracking down here before the tournament. But is there any teams that you're kind of on the lookout for or that you've been keeping up with at all?
Yeah, I mean, there's a handful of them that we've been, trying to watch a lot more. I think the Houston Cougars, that's kind of interesting to me. Just the consistency they've been able to build there, not being one of the prolific programs that you think of, but they've been right there in the mix for 5 or 6 years now. Really good, producing a lot of good teams, a lot of good players. They're a fun one to watch as well. I know we were able to watch that Purdue game this weekend. The big Great guy game for Purdue. Yeah, I mean, those guys they're tough. They can be when you have size and when you have guys that can shoot going into the tournament. I just think that's really a team that can make a run because obviously, I mean, it's kind of simple, but if you're not shooting well and you're still able to go inside and make some layups, I mean, you're going to be able to hang with anyone if you're not playing your best. And then obviously if you can, if you get hot and you can shoot it, that just is even better. So anyway, those are a couple teams. I really think that as if we're talking, teams that are early favorites, if you want to call them that right now. I think another really interesting topic is the Duke North Carolina unranked matchup.
Yes.
Just crazy. We've grown up in the era of those being really the two best programs in sport and college basketball, and to see that change. It'll be interesting to see how they rebuild, and also the fact that UNC was preseason number one,
Unbelievable.
and to not be ranked now is just crazy. But anyway, interested to watch those two programs, see where they go. I think Duke for sure will be in the tournament, though. I think UNC is, we'll see how they finish out in conference play, and see if they sneak in. But I think Duke.
Keep going. Keep going.
No, go ahead.
Which I was going to say, which they're going to try their hardest to get Duke and UNC in. But if I'm not mistaken, didn't Carolina get in as like the 8 or 9 last year, and then they made a huge deep run? Yeah. And then they kind of kept the same guys. I'm assuming that's why they're preseason one. But yeah, it's going to be interesting to see. You had Roy Williams and Coach K there for so many years and led some very successful programs. So it's going to be kind of a new era for those teams. But yeah, definitely weird to see, Carolina Duke unranked.
Yeah. Anyway, and then the other team is Oklahoma State. I just being from Oklahoma and stuff, always like the local teams, if you will, when they do well. Obviously, OU is down this year. Actually, their coach is starting to take quite a bit of heat. But I don't really. They lost a lot, so I think he needs another year or so to turn that back around and kind of be competitive again. But Oklahoma State had a huge win this weekend over TCU, and I think that that's a team that they don't necessarily have a huge. They have Bryce Thompson, who was a 5-star out of high school, but went to Kansas, transferred back home, and he hasn't really turned into an elite player. He's he can get you 15 plus, and then Avery Anderson as well. But anyway, they're starting to turn it around. 3-game win streak right now. We were looking at some stats before, and like I said, they're 10-2 at home. So, if they can just win their home games going into March, I think they're a team that could get in, with an at-large bid, maybe even make a run, in the Big 12 tournament, and see what happens there. But I just think they're interesting. They do play hard. They play hard every night, and they have a lot of athleticism. So anyway, they're just, sometimes those teams just get hot at the right time and put things together and just find a way to, 1, compete, and then 2, win. So that, they're always interesting to watch, in my opinion. So anyway, sure. That's a team I would like to keep an eye on as well, here locally.
Yeah. And they've just had that same core group of guys. I feel like is this year 3 for them now? I feel like some of those guys around were when Cade Cunningham was around there.
They were young guys. So you got the Boone, Caleb Boone's playing great. Avery, and then Bryce. This is Bryce's 2nd year there, but he played AAU and stuff with a lot of those guys, so they have previous history as well. So
do you have any history of playing him or seeing him yourself?
No, I was a little bit older. I did watch him in high school. I was already into college when he really blew up, but watched him a handful of times. In high school he was an automatic 30 ball in high school. Won 6A state. Anyway, he's a good player. So anyway, I think he still has the potential to kind of turn into a player, that you can rely on a little more, as a go-getter. But anyway, just hasn't fully developed, I think, the way that he was expecting to just yet. But obviously a great player still, just not the Cade Cunningham that some people were kind of comparing him to.
Yeah, he's one. If he was I know he's really nice around the mid range. If he was able to develop, an outside 3-ball shot at any capacity, that would be huge for his game.
I know that this is off topic just a little bit, but that stretch there when we were watching, back when Cade Cunningham was there. Yes. I mean, that was just watching him there around that tournament time. It was like they would be down, and then he would just go crazy in those games, and making that run. I know that we had some friends in from Missouri, and we were telling them it's a lock. That Big 12 tournament, and we kind of put them on those guys. So
yeah, I think we were over there in Hot Springs where they do have the sports casino, and I know we won some good men some money that weekend. So
lot of high fives that weekend.
Yeah, lots of high fives and lots of cocktails.
That's right.
But yeah, the kind of some teams that I've been watching. Obviously, you mentioned Purdue, Houston. I feel like those are kind of the two teams that are really good. You still got, and you do have Bama, and then Arizona. I mean, they're still good over there. It's just I feel like that whatever Pac-12 now. I don't know. I feel like there's some good teams every year, them and UCLA, but just always struggle to make that run all the way. And then obviously opening up the year, I thought Kansas was the team to beat.
Yeah.
And they've dropped I don't know how many in conference. I think they've dropped 5 now. 4 in conference.
Four in conference, 5 overall.
Yeah. They came in, Grady Dick just seemed like he couldn't miss a shot, if he was left uncontested. Just tons of talent. They have that kid who transferred over from Texas Tech, McCullers, but just a very good squad. So I'm interested to see, that's just a team I still believe they could get hot and make a run. I mean, it's Bill Self. He's been doing it for years. And then a team that obviously beat Purdue, I think Indiana's fun to watch. They have those two. They have that big in there who mouths, gets chippy, and I love it. I mean, every game I've watched, I mean, he's dropped 20 and 10, no problem, and just dominates the game. And he's a lot of fun to watch.
And he's so aggressive too. I mean, a lot of times you might have a guard or a small forward, that are the playmakers, but it's like, he's a big and he's out here trying to dunk on people and, not afraid to do really anything. Mm-hmm. So that's a really good team to watch, kind of middle of the road right now, but, they could easily make a run, get hot. So
yeah, no, they jumped up. Looks like they opened up the week at 18. So, and I believe they went into that game unranked. So that was a big jump.
Huge win.
And then obviously we can jump into my squad from Missouri since you hit a little bit of Oklahoma State. It looks like they're actually still receiving votes. They're just right there on the outside of the top 25. So pretty content there. But 17-6 record. Like I think we were discussing earlier, they have 4 ranked wins. They beat Illinois and Kentucky back to back. Split with Arkansas. And then they beat Iowa State, who I think's a very good basketball team. But then, they just have those games where, they dropped to Mississippi State over the weekend. They dropped to Florida, dropped one to Texas A&M. I think those are just games that, when you're looking at the big picture, those are just, you got to pick up those wins. I know playing conference ball, it's not easy, but hopefully they can pick it up this week. They have a big game against Tennessee on Saturday, so hopefully we can go 2-0 this week and jump back into the top 25. It's just kind of tough the way they play. They just play that. I think it was when Mike Anderson was there. They played what we called the fastest 40 minutes in basketball. So, when you're playing that fast, a lot of layups, a lot of 3-pointers, you're just trying to get your shots up quick, force turnovers. But when you're not shooting the ball very well, it's very hard to do. And if you're not forcing turnovers, very hard to do, which is simply the game of basketball, I know. But if their outside shot isn't there, it's just hard to win. But just definitely interested to see how they do this week. I'm still very confident if they can go into the SEC tournament, with 8 or 9 losses and win a couple games and get into the tournament, I'm going to be very happy this year. But yeah, obviously 2 big games this week and probably slip back in the top 25 if they can,
pull those up.
If they could upset Tennessee at home, at Tennessee, that'd be phenomenal. Yeah,
absolutely.
But those are kind of just the teams I've been watching. Obviously, like I'm going to start watching like crazy. Probably starting this week, honestly. So,
right.
We'll definitely be able to dive more into college basketball.
Yep. Well, that sounds good.
Anyway, well, is there anything more on the sports side that we need to touch up on, or?
I don't think so. I think that's really we obviously covered Tom Brady last week, so I think that's the hot stuff, the hot takes right now, or the hot topics right now. if you will. So anyway.
Well, perfect. Well, I guess we can probably go ahead and dive into, like I said, at the end of these episodes, we're probably gonna put a little bit of politics on you. Like I said, we're not that crazy anymore. We like to just kind of go into things with common sense. But obviously, the big news this week, I was getting Snapchats for some buddies, and we had a spy balloon from China over St. Louis at a certain point.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, I mean, that's just crazy. I guess we shot it down. Juanita Broderick was going nuts on Twitter, asking what the noise was over in the state of Montana.
Yeah.
But no, I did have, had a lot of people on the ground filming the balloon as it went over the state of Missouri, which is pretty crazy.
Yeah.
So I don't even know the logistics of it at all, but I'm not sure how in the world a balloon from China gets into the U.S. So
yeah,
doesn't seem
that's just, and then seeing where it would pop up at in the time. I mean, I don't know. It's just weird that everyone was referring to it as a balloon, which is what it was, but I feel like it was traveling at a pretty rapid speed to make it everywhere it did in just a couple days. So,
and for it to get over here and not be able to just take it down before it gets to us, I mean, I don't know. Seems very sketchy to me, but everything seems a little sketchy these days.
Yeah, definitely agree. I don't know. Did you have anything? I mean, what if you put yourself into the shoes of those in charge? What's your take on it from what we know? Knowing that it came from China, obviously their intent was getting some type of information on the United States. Like I said, what we do know, what's your take on it, or how would you approach that?
I mean, I guess the biggest thing is just prevention. I mean, we got to prevent that thing from happening. I mean, that's just bad national security, in my opinion. Especially with something that seems so simple. I would think, if we saw that, China was sending over, airplanes or something, that we'd make sure we were being on top of that and take them out. Like, I mean, it's that simple, in my opinion. I don't think they have the best interest in America, if I'm being honest. Right. So
it makes you wonder if it's not an inside job.
Yeah, I mean, I think mostly everything is, but again, if that's gonna be flagged, screw it. So I think most things are inside jobs anymore.
Yeah, no, you're right.
But yeah, no, I just don't get how really we can just let that happen. I mean, it seems very simple, I guess, to send a balloon over here to spy on us. So that's kind of scary.
Yeah, no, it is. And anyway, I think the main thing is you nailed it, but prevention on how something like that can happen. I saw some reports coming out that they were saying that it happened 3 times under President Trump's term.
Charlie Kirk put that in all caps and said fake news.
Yeah, I did some research, and I don't think that it was. I think that it was discredited pretty quickly, even though the far left was throwing that out. And I was just going to add to that. I mean, as a common sense kind of guy, it doesn't make it okay that they were using that, saying it's okay that it happened now because it happened 3 times. It quote unquote happened 3 times under Trump. Even if it did happen 3 times, that doesn't make it okay that it happened now. It should be fixed, and that's kind of the problem with a lot of stuff, in my opinion, is blame game. You did this, so I can do this type of stuff. But I think every American, or at least a majority of Americans, would agree it's not a good thing. And whether it's Biden, Trump, or me or you in office, I think that we all just need to make these decisions and agree on what's best.
Yeah, no, 100%. Yeah, that's really all I know about that. It's just, like I said, it's kind of scary that it seemed so simple to get over here. So
yeah, absolutely.
I will say, just with some other news that I thought was kind of interesting. Last night the Grammys was on. I didn't watch it. All I saw was clips. I don't have time to watch any of that nonsense really anymore. I actually saw a pretty funny tweet where someone was like, saying in quotations from Harry Styles, "Why can't I just wear a suit and be manly?" But it looks like his designers just love putting him in dresses and stuff. So I thought that was pretty funny. But no, there was actually just an interesting scene. The only thing I really saw from other than that, I saw Stapleton and Stevie Wonder perform, and that looked phenomenal per usual. He can usually put up some great performances. But Madonna comes out to introduce Sam Smith and another artist. They sing that popular song on TikTok. I can't think of it. And she said, get ready for an unholy experience or something along those lines, just pretty much saying it was going to be unholy. And then Sam Smith came out with devil horns, and it was all red in there, and it 100% looked like the biggest satanic ritual I've ever seen. So I just thought that was pretty disgusting.
Pretty sad. Yeah, that's sad that it can be on television and be accepted, and if you speak out against it, then they people come against you. So it's telling of the times we're in, but we gotta stand strong. And anyway, I saw some of the clips that you're talking about, and honestly just reassured me I'm making the right decision by not watching that junk. So all I saw was the clip. Yeah, Sam Smith and then Kim Petras, and I guess the song is called Unholy. Oh, okay.
So
great.
That's just, again, great.
Yeah.
Great. No, I'm sick of that garbage being forced on everyone. But I think people are starting to. No, I can't even say that. People seem to love it. I don't know. I was gonna say people. It seems like people want to turn their shoulders. Like I know the Grammy views are down and stuff, but
right.
I don't know. It's just disturbing.
Yeah, that's a great word.
But that's really the only news I had on my end was the Grammys.
Okay.
Other than that, there was I will say I did enjoy they had like a 50 years of hip hop performance. And Twista made a nice little appearance. And
I know you're a big Twista guy.
Some old Twista. It was good. LL Cool J. Just some old school hip hop performances that were actually a lot of fun to watch.
Yeah.
Again, watch those on clips, not the actual Grammys. Just want to point that out. I'm not watching Trevor Noah prounce around and not be funny.
I thought, didn't you go see Trevor Noah at one of his live shows?
That would probably be one of the last things I'd ever put on my list. In fact, I think you'd have to pay me to go.
Okay.
Or I would just go there and boo and get kicked out because I wonder how someone like him gets a job because, like I said, never thought he was that funny. He just liked to attack a lot of politics on the comedy show or whatever he was on. So, let's be original. Come on.
Yeah, that's good. All right. Well, I think that about wraps it up for this week or for this episode. Like I said, stay tuned. Thursday night, Friday morning early. Hopefully, we'll have our first guest on. It's a huge guest. He's a huge, all around. Honestly, kind of every genre of current events. He's huge and a very knowledgeable guy, well spoken, and definitely is opinionated. So it's going to be interesting and informative. So stay tuned for that. Yeah, no, it'll be fun. I'm sure a lot of debate will be going on. I do want to point out he's a Chargers fan. I'm a Chiefs fan, so we usually butt heads on that. And then we really bump heads. We did bump a lot of heads on OU football, but that team kind of went down the tank this year. So we'll see how he feels about the future. Yeah, and that SEC transition. Oh yeah, it's going to be ugly. But all right, thanks everybody for listening. Yep. All right, thanks. We'll see you next time.